as your career has grown, like, has it been harder and harder to stay independent, or like, what does it look like, you know, as far as how the business has changed? Because you talked about just like the social aspect of it kind of, right? But how is the business being impacted by the growth?
I wouldn't say it's harder to stay independent, but the desire to shifts more. Difficulty is tough. I don't know if harder is the word, but it definitely, the larger you get as an indie, the more you need. It's not like you become larger and you need less. Now you become larger and you need more to maintain that size. Like, imagine feeding a Chihuahua versus feeding a bear, right? Like, when you're a Chihuahua, it's like, hey, get some kibbles and you can get one bag of food and he's good for months. But when it's a bear, you know, you start to run out of salmon and berries and everything. So your desire to be independent shifts a bit because you're like, man, I need this resource. I need this resource. Your access changes. When I was doing 250 cap venues, I never had a problem getting a venue. When you want to do 1,000 cap, Live Nation owns this, AG owns this, Another Planet owns this. You have to use access ticket. You got to use ticket. The infrastructure is different because you're now playing a different level of ball.
Oh, and it was designed that way. They wanted to control
for certain,
you know,
for certain. And you know what's crazy? As like monopolistic as everyone makes it seem, I don't think that was the full intent. That's just like a product of the dream. Like, if I'm building a Live Nation, just like I'm building my company and I acquire things and I start building my repertoire. And as you do that, you go from 10 to like, man, we got 1,000, you know, and that was their dream. We want to be the biggest. We want to throw the biggest shows we want to do. And that's what happens. You know, they're Steve Jobs of what they do.
Yeah. People love to just throw shade at Live Nation.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And just like, paint them to be the devil. No. But I think as an entrepreneur, it's a business and they grew and scaled their business in the way that they had to and their dream.
And
right.
you got to think, like, people don't understand. People like them, your dream becomes grander than your original vision. Like Amazon, like Bill Graham. Bill Graham was like one of the first, and he's from the Bay Area, that was throwing concerts and like, I'm gonna charge this and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna get venues. He never envisioned what it became. You know, you can't fathom that. You just start. Live Nation started as promoters, you know, and it became that.
Yeah. So specifically, is it the access to capital? Like, is it the funding side of things that gets more difficult as far as like how much money you do have to spend to do all the things? Or like what specifically is, you know, because I like the analogy of like the Chihuahua and the bear, but like, let's get a little more
capital and level of resource, right? So when you go when you go to a label, this label employs thousands of people regionally and internationally that works your records.
Yeah.
When you're independent, you have your team working your records. Maybe if you have a publicist, maybe a digital art, but you have whoever you can acquire and whoever you can fund and pay, right? And then you have to run your ads. You're generally on a label, all of your ads are being consumed within a budget, within a marketing budget. When you're indie, my ads come out of my budget that I spend to live as well, and to pay my team and to pay my mom, to all of these things. You feel me? So the infrastructure changes. So capital and just the level of resource, the publicist and publicity you can get as an indie differs from the publicity you get when you partner with a major who works with television and works with TV. The sync opportunities change, the brand opportunities change. Everything is at a different magnitude because they have a relationship already. Like, if I'm indie, I'm probably doing business with you for the first time. Yeah. But with a label, I've been going to radio for 100 years.
Oh, they're golf buddies with fucking the senior executives.
Beyond the capital, just the level of resources completely different.